Hello and welcome to Cult Shift X. I'm your host, Drone53. Now I know I've been I've been away for a little while, but that's mostly because of illness. But now I'm back. It's a 30-degree day out there, or 86 for you people who use freedom, and I use it with air quotes. But yes, it's time for me to read Chapter 2 of the Deadly series in the first book, Nude. Now before I start, I think I'm going to introduce my co-hosts. Coming up first is Cousin Vera. Nice and strong gin, probably like 36% or something like that. And my other co-host, Crippling Despair and Anxiety. Very well. Sorry? Not sorry. Let us start the abridgment. So, Amy, or Amelia, but she prefers to go by Amy. And no, it's not one of the Swifty Amy's, sorry. So let's see. She first starts talking about how her mum is trying really hard not to lose her shit on her birthday, on Amy's birthday, not her mum's birthday, because her father is late. He's 1 hour and 13 minutes late, and her mum's so angry that she's just slamming kettles on the table, causing cutlery and Walkmans to jump. And yes, I mean a Walkman is in those CD players that jumped at like the slightest bump, and yeah, it was a very different time back then. You had to be there. But unfortunately, Amy's brand new birthday Walkman jumps off the table and partially breaks, which is like, oh fucking hell! Like back then, that wouldn't have been an easy thing to repair. But Amy's mum says that she'll pick it up. Well, she won't just pick it up; she'll repair it. Now, of course, Amy's upset, but she doesn't blame her mum because her mum had a really unhappy childhood, which is a recurring theme in this chapter. She refers to it several times. It's now 1 hour and 15 minutes, her mum yells furiously, to buy a birthday breakfast from a deli that's 5 minutes drive away, and he's still not back. Amy's looking at her mum, angry, unhappy face, and she's saying that's when she decided to do it. What she should have done years before, make her dad confess, get it out in the open, and explain why he was always disappearing. And before she could even rehearse how she was going to do it, the back door flies open and in comes Dad, carrying a bag of takeaway food and dumping them on the table. 1 hour and 16 minutes, said Mum icily. Now, I don't really do icy tones, so if someone else can do a better icy tone, then by all means record it and reply to this video. Thank you. Her dad's looking sheepish because, well, he's actually part Kiwi, and he's wondering how he's taken 1 hour and 15 minutes where he could have walked there on his hands and hoped to carry the pancakes on his head. And he's saying, well, when I still had hair, I could have done that. And yeah, he's using rueful grins and nervous glances and explaining that he had to drop in at work. Sorry. And Amy laments that that's when she should have done it. She really wishes that she could have looked him in the eye, or his glasses, and j'accuse, of having an affair with another woman. But unfortunately, her dad completely knocks the wind out of her sails and hands her a pocket knife. And yeah, calls her a princess, kisses her on the cheek. Amy pecks him back. So yeah, what's not actually disclosed is that Amy is, what is it, not an asthma, an Aarakocra, that's it. Amy is actually an Aarakocra, so she cannot physically kiss someone, she can literally only peck them. And if you don't know what an Aarakocra is, then you're not a big enough nerd and you have a good life, and, well, congratulations. But yeah, Amy's been given a Swiss Army knife from her dad, and it's huge. It's like one of those 27 doohickey things. Unfortunately, if her dad was really cool, he would have given her an SOG knife. But what can you do? She says that she wishes that she'd been given a book voucher from her parents so she could buy a book saying how to repair a failing marriage. Like, fucking hell, this is a kid's book. This is a kid's book, and I suppose back in the 90s, a lot of parents got divorced. Like, I know my family was one of the few families that didn't have divorced parents. It seemed to be, I don't know, maybe a lot of people got married in the early 90s when they probably shouldn't have, probably due to all the drugs that people took back then. But I digress. So Amy's dad talks about how having 27 implements will be good because you can help people 27 times if they let you. Amy retorts, but in her mind, except for quite a while he's been helping himself to another woman. She's quite sassy, this Amy. Yeah, she tries again, but this time her mum cuts her off, and she's complaining about work. And she's saying it's so bitter Agnestura would bottle it. Yeah, her dad doesn't flinch. When her mum gives her one of those looks, she claims her guts turn to soggy cauliflower, which is pretty disgusting. I mean, just regular cauliflower is pretty shit. How do people eat it with that cheese sauce? It's bland, but it still tastes like cauliflower, so it still tastes shit. So I really don't get it. The only way I like cauliflower is if it's chopped up into such small amounts and cooked in a curry that it's basically just filler and you can't actually taste it. It's just there's a little bit of texture. Second tangent on the same page. Wow. Her mum says, if your work's so important, more important than your daughter's birthday, why don't you bloody well move there? Well, I am paraphrasing a bit. I'm abridging, of course. I'm using some colourful language that they wouldn't really put in the book. If they swear in the book, I will let you know, because Australians love swearing. Sorry, prudes. Sorry, I mean Americans. Sorry, not sorry. Her mum treats the Swiss Army knife with disdain and says, "Don't you think Amelia is a bit old for a penknife?" Amelia actually gets a little upset over that, or Amy gets a little upset over that, thinking, it's not a penknife, it's more than a penknife, it's a tool set. But she doesn't get to finish explaining that because her mum was looking even angrier than normal, because her dad is saying, "Life's an adventure." And he picks up the Swiss Army knife and starts pulling out the implements that look like they'd be used for removing kidney stones from small mammals. I can think of a mammal that could do with that Swiss Army knife right now, but I'll leave it up to you to figure out who that mammal is. Her mum doesn't even answer. She turns to Amy and says, "Start on your cheese and asparagus pancakes, princess. I'll go and mend your Walkman." I'm not a fan of asparagus at all, so I don't know how people can do this, but like cheese and asparagus pancakes, that sounds a bit naff. Like, it's a bit, oh god, imagine what you, pancakes that make your piss smell bad, that's no. Who wants that? Who wants stinky piss from pancakes? Another tangent, you know what that means? It's time for another visit from Cousin Vera. Gotta love that juniper. And that strong alcohol. And a really nice tall brass shot glass that I keep in the freezer so the gin stays extra cold when I take it out on these hot Australian spring afternoons. Now, where was I? I was being distracted by someone messaging me over Facebook because, of course they do. No prizes for guessing who it was who interrupted me. But I just need a moment to calm down, says Amy's mum. And she says, "So I don't forget myself and kill your father on your birthday. I'll be fine when I've had a cup of tea." Now, despite her many flaws, it's clearly a sign of good mothering if you don't want to kill your spouse on your child's birthday, because think about how much it's going to fuck them up when they're older, or every subsequent birthday. You want to wait roughly a month before, or preferably after, you kill your spouse around your child's birthday. Like, if it's literally 1 month to the day, then it might be a bit on the nose, so beyond 1 month, but not including 1 month. But if it's before the birthday, it's probably best not to do it within the first 2 months leading up to the birthday, because then it's still going to be too raw. So, yeah, if you kill your spouse on your child's birthday, or the date that your child shares the birthday with, make sure it's at least a month after the child's birthday. So Amy's mum goes upstairs with the Walkman and starts to work on it. And Amy laments that when parents start giving you separate presents, it's one of the signs that their marriage was almost over. The kids at school had told her Amy was focusing on repairing their marriage while her mum was repairing the Walkman. So Amy, like myself, takes another deep breath. And yeah, it was only 10:25. She was born at 10:32, so her birthday didn't really start for another 7 minutes. Good technicality to pick up on. Remember when your actual birth time is as well as your birth date, so that way, if you have anything that you need to get done within a year, you still give yourself some time. And, well, yeah, you can't shit out of luck if you're born like 4 in the morning, because then it's like, yeah, good luck at getting anything done on that day. So Amy talked about how she'd keep the vow that she'd made to herself to confront her dad before another year of her life had started. Yeah, she's talking about how she's been worrying and she's been losing sleep and feeling sick because of how bad her parents' relationship is going. And she said, all I'll have to do is just look across the table and say it. She talks about what she wants to say. She says that she wants to say that she knew there was another woman, and she wants to say that all those nights she came in late and think I'm asleep and creep into my room just to give me a kiss, you pong of her perfume. You're just lucky mum eats so much garlic or she'd smell it too. Now her mum's probably part French. I'm sorry, that's a horribly racist remark, but again, I'm Australian, so I can't really help with the racism. It's just so ingrained here. Like, you know what they say, like 33% of all Australians are full-time racists or part racists or something like that. I've probably just ruined the joke. Either way, make your own extrapolations from there. And also, it's not like the creepy father sneaking into the room to kiss like in Twin Peaks or just any other weird show. It's just like, yeah, an affectionate kiss. Like on the forehead, I think she said. She doesn't specify, but yeah, that's probably what he was doing. So Amy asks why. Well, she says, "I know why you'd be cheating on mum," and it's not because, like, she'd say that she thinks that her dad doesn't think her mum loves her dad anymore, but she does. It's just she can't help being such a grouch because, you know, she had an unhappy childhood, and yeah, she just wants her dad to stop it, give the other woman the flick, and come back to us. And yeah, it's actually really quite sad that her parents' relationship is in such a dire strait. And she said that she knew every word of it off by heart. She'd rehearsed under the bed covers a million times, and now the moment had come to say it. So, yeah, this is making for a really dark chapter and introduction to Amy. She takes several deep breaths, downs some orange juice, clears her throat, and he looks up from his deli box with a cheese and asparagus pancake wobbling on the fish slice in his hand. She clears her throat again, but she can't do it. The words won't come. She doesn't know why. Maybe it's because her dad looks anxious and stressed and tired. Maybe and she worries that maybe her mum would kill her if she says that. Maybe she was just a born coward. She was saying that if she'd been braver, she could have stopped that day turning into a nightmare. So this sounds like this entire thing is in past tense. So I wonder when we're going to catch up to the future, or the present, I should say, even though the present was like 15 years ago, like 17 years ago now. But I digress again. Yeah, so she just keeps questioning all her decisions, and she's upset with herself that she couldn't say 90 simple words. Instead, her dad puts the cheese and asparagus pancake on her plate and sighs. "Listen, princess," he says, "I know it's your birthday, and I wish I didn't have to, but I've got to pop back to work and do a few chores and improve the state of civilization as we know it. Sorry." That sounds really disingenuous, but it starts getting a bit weird because it's a Saturday for starters, and he works in a veggie factory and it's closed for the weekend, and that includes her dad's plant genetics laboratory. So again, he's lying. So, or at least she claims he's lying. So they just sit there and eat their pancakes in silence, And he's saying, when I get back this arvo, well, he doesn't actually say arvo, he says afternoon, but still, I'm using some sort of colloquialisms every now and then. Yeah, so he's talking about having a birthday tea with a surprise. Now, I'm pretty sure by birthday tea he means birthday dinner. It's kind of mixed in Australia. Some people say tea, some people say dinner. It's just, yeah, I prefer to say dinner because there's no ambiguity about that when it comes to special birthday tea. What, is it literally a special birthday tea? Like, some teas are really expensive. Like, have you seen some of those things at T2? Like, they're charging like nearly $50 for 120 grams of some fancy ass tea like Buddha's Tears or Silver Nettle or something like that. Amy's miserable thinking about how a highly educated scientist who's responsible for the health of most of the tomatoes, peas and carrots in this part of the state can be so bad at observing stuff. And a bit like how sad her voice is sounding. But she also says that her mum's no better. She studies ancient history, which is a hard course, especially doing it off the internet. Oh yeah, 17 years ago doing a course over the internet, that would be tough. Like, just imagine trying to download a book, or at least a chapter of a book, using a 56k modem. Like, it's... God, they were the bad old days that thankfully I managed to avoid, despite me being old enough. I just got the internet late and I jumped straight onto cable internet. Blah de blah de blah. So her dad asks her what she's got planned this morning, and she says, "Oh, just meeting some friends in town." And she doesn't like the fact that she's lying on her birthday, but her dad lied first and more, so it's like, well, I don't feel too bad. And her dad says, "That's nice," but she wants to respond. She doesn't, but again, there's a lot of internal monologue going on here. And she's saying, "Dad, for the last 5 years, I've been at a boarding school 300 kilometres away. I'm only in town for a few weeks each year. How could I have any friends here?" But she stays quiet. Upstairs, she can hear her mum running a bath, so she doesn't wait around for a Walkman. God. Hell, I think she'd even settle for a Zune. Were Zunes around then? Probably. Yeah. Either way, go. Back then, if kids knew what the future had for music, yeah, I'd recommend you download everything you could have back then while the internet was kind of shit, so Napster wouldn't really... Either way. So her dad's in the bathroom, she yells goodbye, and from the bottom of the stairs you can see he's changing to one of his best jackets, and it's got like leather patches on the elbows and makes him look kind of nerdy. And he's saying, "See you at your birthday tea," to which she doesn't respond, so can't be a typical teenage girl. And it's not sexist if it's an observational thing I've noticed from when my sister was a teenager. Yeah? But either way, she slams the front door, but then creeps over to the carport and actually sneaks into the back of her dad's car. So closes into the booch. She jumps into the boot of his car, closes the latch and just waits. So she lays there in darkness with a rubber tire and her deepest, darkest thoughts as her only companions, and she's thinking, God, this is a shit-ass birthday. Fuck. Again, I'm using a bit of creative language here. But her dad gets in the car shortly thereafter and takes off. And on the last page, she talks about how the kids at boarding school, when they feel scared and miserable, which is quite often, they'll close their eyes and pretend that there's someone who's even worse off than them. So she did that in the boot. She pretends she was a kid who didn't have enough to eat, but that doesn't work. So she imagines she's a kid in a war, and that doesn't work. So she imagines that she's alone and cold and naked on a hillside, and then that doesn't work. And she talks about how it's strange. The one thought that made her feel better was also the thought that terrified her the most, that very soon she'd finally know the truth. Now, as that's the end of the second chapter of, I think, 6 books, I can resoundingly tell you that she probably won't get the whole truth. She probably won't even get the half truth. If she's lucky, she'll get a quarter truth, but realistically it's going to be like a 5th truth or a 6th truth even. But yeah, that brings us to the end of chapter 2 of the book Nude from the Deadly series. If you have any complaints or suggestions, shove them up your ass. See ya.